Dirty New Jerusalem. Anyway, right? Full moon day. Let's just talk about the whole moon cycle itself. Okay, you got the new moon night, the beginning, the void state where I'm in the city right now, I'm right downtown, so you bear with me. But anyway, right, the new moon, that's significant of the void state, germination period, where things start, you know. That's where you're putting the thought out there, and then once the moon starts to wax, that thought is growing into a plant and manifesting into what, you know, the plan that you have for it, whatever, and then it blossoms, boom, and then it starts to die, you know, just like in life, the cycles, you know, it's returning back to the earth to return to the void state, and then you grow again. It's just the cycle of the moon. That's just how things go. That's the cycle of the moon. So during the new moon state, with the vortex that's created between the moon and the earth in the ether, you have disembodied beings being able to move about this earth, this place, very freely. And that's where a lot of inception is occurring. That's where a lot of trauma and dreams is occurring during the new moon. That's where a lot of people are. That's where a lot of people are basically being traumatized and having their energy sucked from them and having thoughts given to them at a subtle level. So from that point, those thoughts and wants, desires, whatever is being imputed into this person's mind, because the mind is just open, just like the body is just a thing. You know, you're just putting something there. The drivers are who are the people who, it's like if a gun is in the room, it's like, whose gun is that? Whoever is holding the gun. It's not like, yo, that's my gun, I bought it, it's sitting on the table. If you grab it, it's still my gun. No, it's that person's gun, who the person holding it, that's the gun, that's the possessor of the gun. So it's the same thing with the mind or the body. Whoever's up in it, that's whose it is. So if you got somebody imputing something into the mind or the body, to the cells of the body, or into the mind, then it's just like planting a seed. That new moon's a perfect time to plant that seed, let that grow and blossom and manifest. Now the energy of the body is now going with the mind, because the body, the cells are just under the government of the thoughts of the body, of the mind. And the self is just the awareness or the driver, the will driving force that uses these two things, mind and body, as a tool. You know, that's why you see when you get into trance, you can use the total full spectrum of the mind, and which turns into the whole spectrum of the body, where we're flying and using all these abilities that we should have at all layers, because it's all freed up and opened up. We're not at the tip of the iceberg, we're the whole iceberg. We are there. We are part of the full potential that we have, or we are what we are. So imagine you plant a seed, a bad seed, into fertile soil. Fertile soil being somebody's mind who's just open. You plant that, and then that manifests in their life. And then there's no separation from me and another person, so it's manifesting in pretty much all our lives at some level. It's just about how the proximity is. Where's the distance? There's no separation. There might be something going on in Bangladesh right now, and people are getting murdered. There's no separation between me and it, but it's out of sight, out of mind, because that distance, until it comes to me. Like they say, you know, when they came for the blacks, nobody helped. When they came for the Asians, nobody helped. When they came for so-and-so, nobody helped. But when they came for me, who could help me? You know, because you weren't helping then. So, you know, you get it. If that's planting in that fertile mind at that point, it's going to blossom into a shitty flower for all of us. So, yeah, man. The new moon and the full moon day, that's when the soul, disembodied beings, are moving about extra freely. So when they're moving around like that, and they've been in, say they planted that seed, they created a home in the mind of this person during that new moon. By the time the full moon day has come, they might be totally moved into that home. That plant might already be fully grown. So full moon day, it's in full blossom. The plant is in full blossom. So total possession might be occurring at this point, or, you know, not backseat driving, but they might have a hand on the wheel from the passenger side, or sitting on your lap. So This is what's going on. So that's why we have full moon nights. People thinking full moon nights is when disembodied beings are moving about crazy. No, they're not disembodied at that point. They're already in a body. They're in your body, or they're in somebody's body at that point. They've taken, what? Well, by the time of the full moon, 28 days or so to get to this point where they planted that seed. You know? Or 14 days, I should say. Excuse me. 14 to 17 days, whatever. So they planted that seed during that new moon, waxing for 2 weeks, boom. It's a full for about 3 days, fundamentally full. So, you know, in that time, people are like, oh, it's a full moon out. It's crazy, people acting crazy. No, it's just that there's multiple drivers in these vehicles right now. Or the self is pushed into that back seat. It's no longer at the wheel. It's no longer at the helm. So be wary of those full moon days, those new moon nights. You know what I mean? Whatever you got to do for your protection. You know, get right with yourself, whether it's meditation or essential oils, you know, burning certain things, whatever it is, what have you, whatever you feel like you need. At this point in time, I just do my breathing practices, because I know me and I know the times. It's very active from 11 to 3, 4 in the morning. The activity with disembodied beings is heightened. So on a new moon, it's just even, it's tenfold. So just know that, you know. And on a new moon, full moon day, it's just about the same. So it's just about that pressure and that vortex between the moon and the earth itself during those times. And like you know, there's a growth during the waxing moon and a recession during the waning moon. So